If you're here because you want to know how we continue to eat healthy food and cut our grocery bill by $500 in 1 month, you are in luck because I'm going to go over that. I'm going to talk today about all the ways in which I am attempting to learn to save our household money as a homemaker, a wife, a mom, and just the person who kind of manages the house. So stick around and I hope that this is really helpful for you. So really quick backstory here. It has become clear over the past few months that the direction we feel God is leading our family in is for me to stay home and no longer have full-time employment. So that means a loss of one of our incomes, which is pretty significant for our family. That won't happen until likely July of this year, but we are planning now and taking it very seriously because not only am I losing my income, which is huge, but we are also, not that my income is huge, but losing one person's income is a big deal. You know what I mean? But not only that, my job is the one that provides health insurance for us right now. So starting when I am no longer employed, we will need to pay roughly about $500 a month to cover our family for health insurance. So we have added costs and less money to cover those costs with. So how are we making it? What is the plan? And especially how am I planning to continue to feed my family in a healthy way, but on much less money? So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I hope it is helpful for you. So the first thing that I did when my husband and I were talking and praying about my job and what we felt led to do is that I took our budget. I've had a budget since we were engaged, and we've never followed it too strictly, to be honest, because we've never really had to. I think that this is really a great growing time for us and almost pruning us to just really stick to our budget. But I took that budget, I took our projected income for the year, so for 2022, including my income essentially stopping in July, and I planned out all of our expenses and tried to make it so that our expenses did not exceed our take-home income for the year. And I was able to do that. Praise God. So that required cutting out some things that we had allowed in our budget previously. So we did have to remove some things that were more like luxuries, like getting our house cleaned every other week, like miscellaneous spending money, home decorations, home decor, things like that got drastically lowered. But that's okay because we can thrift them. Nothing got taken out that to me was essential. To me, everything that got taken out was like, it is worth it to lose this thing to be home full-time with my kids. That's just how I felt as I was going through the budget line by line and removing certain things. Like me removing this is not a non-negotiable. I'm okay letting this go because I know that this means I get to be home and be the homemaker for our family. Actually, if you're interested in seeing a template for my yearly planning, I just made it myself. I didn't buy it from anywhere. I could share like a sample. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. And then after that, I actually made some separate templates for monthly spending and started to track our spending. So in January was the first month where I literally tracked every single penny that came in and every single penny that went out, and noticed, oh my goodness, we went over our food budget by over $600 in January. In fact, we had gone through our entire food budget for the month by January 17th. We were already over the month budget by the 17th. So that kind of kicked me into high gear because we can't afford this year to go over. In other years, it was like, oh, we went over, it's fine, whatever. But this year, that is not going to be the case. We actually need to stick to our budget. So these are the things that I did to start to cut that $600 back. And this month, I think we're going to be over by probably like $75, maybe $100. So I cut our overspending by $500. And I have plans for next month. Stick around because guys, I'm going to be under budget next month in Jesus' name. No, I really have plans to do even more to cut our budget in the months to come. But I'm really proud of how much I was able to cut it in just 1 month, because things like gardening and growing our own food and some of the other like longer term budget stuff is going to take a few months. But I think that by year's end, we're really going to have this under control a lot more than we did back in January. Okay, so the first thing that I did is I actually, my husband usually does the grocery shopping, but I had him save all the receipts and I went through and looked for the biggest ticket items. Sad to say, I wasn't even really paying attention to how much we were paying for anything previous to January 17th. And I realized that, for instance, we were buying frozen wild caught shrimp twice a week, and each time we bought it, it was $16. And $16 is way too much for a single meal. That isn't even really that satisfying because my husband and I could probably eat the whole bag to ourselves, but we were splitting it. So $16 was just not going to cut it. Very sad to say we haven't had shrimp at all in February. Maybe we can splurge at some point if some extra income comes in. But I started to look at our receipts and circling anything that was extra expensive and figuring out how we could either get rid of it, or if it was something we really felt like was a nutritional need for our family or something we really relied upon, how could we make it cheaper? So one of the first items we were spending money on that I was determined to stop spending money on was bread. We eat sourdough toast with every breakfast, every single day of the week, every month of the year. I had tried to make a sourdough starter started several months ago, and I ended up doing it for probably close to like 8 weeks, like 2 months, and I just threw all of it out. Like, I didn't make a single thing. I probably went through 2 to 3 bags of flour and it all ended up in the garbage. So I was like, I can't do that again. Like, I just can't waste money trying to get this thing started. So I asked some people on Instagram, and some people told me about buying a dehydrated starter off of Etsy and then just getting it going again. So I looked up the reviews, and the one that I got had this amazing like set of reviews, and I was like, okay, it's $10, free shipping, I'm gonna get it. It was the best decision. Within 48 hours, it was ready to bake with, ready to make bread with, and at no point during the process of getting it rehydrated did I have to discard anything. And since I've had it ready, we have not discarded any sourdough starter whatsoever. We have used all of it. So I've baked, I think, about 5 loaves of bread already, and I've made pancakes on several occasions, I've made pizza crust on several occasions, and I've made sourdough crackers on several occasions. I actually have a book on hold at the library for more sourdough recipes because I really want to learn and let this be something that is not only economical for our family but also very enjoyable. I will link down below the account that I have been following for sort of my sourdough bread recipe and process. The process is very intimidating. It's like a 24-hour process. But I found this one website that has been really helpful, and that my best bread has absolutely been following her recipe. It's also just all-purpose unbleached flour. There's no other like wheat flour or bread flour or anything else that's going into it. It's just one kind of flour, and it's delicious. So that has saved us a lot of money right there. And it's definitely healthier. Like, hands down, the ingredients are much less than what you would get at the store. So the next thing is bone broth. I had been wanting to make my own bone broth for a while, but I was like, where can I get bones? That is such a silly question now looking back. But I was like, you know, is there a store that just sells like chicken bones, pasture-raised chicken bones? And then I had the brilliant realization that I should just be buying whole chickens, and I need to learn how to roast a whole chicken. Previous to the end of January, I had never in my entire life roasted a whole chicken. And so I probably have roasted about 4 chickens now, 1 a week, and I got a really great recipe that I already had in this Magnolia cookbook that I have. I'll link it down below. It's a great cookbook, and it is a delicious roasted chicken. It also requires about 24 hours advance notice of getting it ready, because you sort of season it the night before and then you cook it the next day. But it is so worth it. It's delicious, and it feeds us for several meals. I would say between 3 to 5 meals, just one roasted chicken, and then I take all the bones and the carcass and everything, and I make bone broth, and the bone broth lasts us the entire week. So I'm no longer buying bone broth, and I'm also really reducing our meat bill by roasting a chicken and eating all of it. It also comes with organs, which I have yet to cook, but I need to cook the liver and the neck and the gizzards and all that. I'm going to learn how to do it, and the heart. because there's extra nutrients in that. And one of the things that we've really learned in the past year as well is how good it is to eat from nose to tail of an animal. So not just the muscle meats like the breast or the thighs, but really eating as much of the animal as you can to get all of the nutrients. So that is another advantage of buying whole chickens. Next, and I feel like this is such just like a blessing from God and him showing us that like I'm going to take care of you. We have a family in our home church that has chickens, pasture raised chickens, and they lay more eggs than they can use by quite a lot. And so Andrew and I have been getting about 3 to 4 dozen eggs a week for $3 a dozen, and they are these beautiful pasture raised eggs. It is such a humongous blessing, and we've been able to eat eggs then for every breakfast and sometimes even at lunch, just because it is a cheaper option for us. So I don't know exactly where you live or if people that you know have chickens, but it could be something worth searching for to see if anyone around you has just like backyard chickens that they would be willing to sell you eggs at a discounted price, because the only thing they really need the money for is to feed them, essentially. Also, as a longer term plan, I have actually called our township, emailed, written letters, and gotten the issue of chickens on the agenda for next month's township meeting with the board, and they are going to hear arguments for changing the zoning in our area to allow for chickens. Many of my neighbors are on board, and I'm hoping there's going to be a good turnout at the meeting, so pray for us that they allow backyard chickens. That could be something that in the coming months we do. I would love to have chickens, just to have, again, a source of our own eggs here, but also just to learn for myself and to teach the girls how to take care of animals. And hopefully maybe one day in the future we could have an even bigger plot of land and take care of even more animals like goats or pigs or cows, who knows, but chickens is a good place to start. The next thing that I'm doing, which I kind of referenced already, is really being intentional about our garden plans for this year. I have several people in my life who are great at gardening and have a lot of tips for me, including our neighbors that are like right behind there. It's so awesome. She has come over several times to just meet and plan with me and talk to me about what she knows. My grandfather is a huge gardener and has so much knowledge. He has come over to meet with me and Andrew and help us to plan. So at this point, we feel like we have a really solid plan, and we're going to start putting it into action soon. And we're constantly consulting those people in our lives who have more knowledge than us about this, so that we can grow as much of our food as we can this year. And then I also want to learn how to preserve it, so dry it or can it. And I'm really, really motivated to do that, because again, I want to be home with my girls. I want to be able to survive without me bringing any income in for our family. And so this is one of the ways where I feel like I'm still contributing to our family financially by honing my skills in these areas and letting it save us significant amounts of money. Last but not least, not at all least, is that I heard about this market called Asur. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Azure. And I just absolutely love it. It is a family-owned business, so it's not your Target, Whole Foods, Amazon, anything like that. And it is a basically online grocery shopping that you can do. They give you so many healthy organic options and many, many, many bulk options. And then once a month, you will have a pickup of the grocery order that you make in a location that is near you. So my pickup is about 20 minutes away, and it happens in the middle of the month. So I just had my first pickup in February, and I didn't go so overboard because I was like, let me just see if this is gonna work. So I bought raw cheese in bulk. I bought coconut sugar in bulk. I bought maple syrup in bulk. I bought cassava flour in bulk. I bought parchment paper in bulk, frozen mango in bulk, ice cream in bulk. It was so good. That is actually already gone. Everything else we still have plenty of, but the ice cream is gone. And I think that might be it for this past month. Guys, it saved us so much money. I have a amazing list for March. I am so excited, and I feel like the things that I'm going to stock up on for our freezer and for our pantry, and even for the fridge to some extent, is going to save us so many trips to the grocery store and also just so much money. Where was I? My camera cut off. So I have so many bulk things lined up for March. I am so excited to get them, to stock up our freezer, our pantry, grab a bunch of organic things, and I did very carefully price compare Asur standards prices with every local grocery store that we frequent around here, and they beat out the other grocery stores sometimes by like dollars on top of dollars on top of dollars per pound, and then I got like 25 pounds, so it was just compounded. I should actually figure out exactly how much money I save by using Asur, but you can kind of tell that between the sourdough, the whole chicken and bone broth, cutting out the shrimp, and ordering from Asur, that we saved $500. So that is a big chunk of change that is now back in our pockets. So it is huge. I'm definitely going to update you guys on how much I'm able to save in March, because I really think it's going to be even more than February. Some other things I'm looking forward to doing from now on, I actually want to stop buying heavy cream and just use the cream on top of the raw milk that we get from the grocery store. Although then that means we have less milk to work with. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out, but I do want to use the raw cream to try to make my own butter. I'm like super excited to learn that skill. So I want to try that. And then there are just more sourdough things that I want to try to make. I want to make crackers more often with the discard, because that's huge. Olivia is a huge snacker. She loves crackers, and she loves the sourdough crackers. So she will eat them as long as I have them. I just ran out today, and so then she went to the like Annie's bunnies, which I would much prefer for her to be having the sourdough crackers. So I need to be doing that a lot more often. But there are just small skills that I am trying to learn each month to save our family money. If you have any skills that you've learned, like food-wise, cooking-wise, that you really believe saves your family money, please let me know, or any other places that you shop or things like that. One more thing I really want to mention, and I would just so appreciate if you guys would help my family out with this. You do not have to at all, but Asur has this really great program where if you refer someone to them, you actually get $25 off your next grocery shopping purchase. So I made sure that when I signed up for Asur, I did it through the link of someone that told me about it on Instagram, because I really wanted to bless her family with $25. So I will leave my link down below. If you are interested in Asur, if you feel like you're going to potentially shop through them, and you set up your account, I would love if you use my link, just so that you could help our family to save some money. If not, totally fine, but just thought I would throw it out there. Definitely looking forward to making more videos like this as we journey through this year, and especially once I am officially unemployed, which I am not yet. And I want to bring you guys sort of along the journey of me learning how to be a full-time homemaker. If this is content that interests you, please click that subscribe button. I would love for you to follow along on the journey. Give me a comment down below. It really helps my videos to get that engagement with YouTube, their algorithm, and all of that. And of course, if you heard anything in this video that you liked or appreciated, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. I hope that this helped you, because I feel like we're all in it together with inflation, with trying to make it with our families, and also just trying to be home with our babies and not feel like we need to be away at a job. So I hope this was helpful. I'm getting long-winded now. I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.